Project-based learning, or PBL, is a teaching and learning method that's used throughout Chesterfield County Public Schools. I'm Amy Bartolotti, coordinator for the Office of Family and Community Engagement, and we're here today on Engage Chesterfield with Peyton Anderson, who serves our division as the Project-based Learning Specialist. We're going to be talking a little bit about project-based learning, the benefits of it, and how you as a community and family can get involved with this method. Thank you so much for joining us, Peyton.
Thanks for having me.
Can you give us a brief description of PBL and let us know kind of the impact and why it's such a great thing?
Sure. Project-based learning is an inquiry-based system of learning that is really student-centered. So to unpack that a little bit, right? Inquiry, we ask really broad, open-ended questions of our students to get them thinking about an answer instead of saying, hey, do this for me right now and have this done. And the student-centered piece is the choices that are made along the way for the student to really drive the project, the product, and who they're going to interact with on how it's going to be presented.
So can you give me some examples, and are there any things that stick out as your favorites?
Sure. Crestwood Elementary does a really wonderful project on the migration of the monarch butterfly. It's been going on for a few years now. It's a school-wide project that really identified the need to focus in on the habitat of the monarch butterfly and figure out how to help it. They've done a wonderful job with that. There's been some great projects. There was a math project at Thomas Dale that won one of our awards last year, using geometry and angles to help the soccer team find the best way to make a shot on goal. So there's examples everywhere. It's hard for me to really pin down a favorite, but what I can tell you is it all becomes a favorite when you know that a student is learning in a different way that they weren't learning in otherwise. So
what's necessary really for students and teachers to get the most out of the PBL experience?
I think just trust the process. It's completely different. It's a little bit outside of the norm of that traditional teaching method. It's offering a driving question, giving the content knowledge as you go through the process, and allow the students to kind of explore it on their own. Instead of really leading them as a guide, you allow their inquiry to be the guide to drive their instruction and their learning. So that's a different piece of that, which sometimes offers up some dynamics that aren't otherwise there. There's a bit more struggle for the student in learning, which is great. That shows that they really are thinking through the process and that the learning is happening from them instead of to them, which is awesome.
So as a parent, I've heard of PBL, and so I've heard problem-based learning and project-based learning. What's the difference, or is there one?
Yeah, there's a difference. Problem-based learning and project-based learning are very similar. I would say they're relatives, almost brother-sister. Problem-based learning is going to be a bit more refined down and specific. So they're going to be offering a very specific problem or issue to solve. So this fits pretty nicely with math classes and science as well on solving something, while project-based learning really has this driving open-ended question that allows exploration from the students to come up with several different outcomes and possibly several problems to solve as well.
So as a parent or a community member, this sounds really cool, and this is not the way we learned, but how can I get involved in this? Can the community become part of it?
Yeah, sure. So project-based learning is not something new. In the late 1890s, John Dewey was talking about project learning. I think a phrase that would be more common is that learn by doing, right? We hear that a lot, and experience is such a wonderful thing, and learning the process of something. And that's exactly what this is. This is just a prescribed 8-element piece on how to go about it that is more of a puzzle for a teacher to be able to know the pieces, to build the structure so the student can engage with it. Teachers are really creating a wonderful opportunity for these students in this manner. It's different for parents now, I think, because they're kind of used to having book reports and these traditional projects that are being done at the end of units. And that's not what project-based learning is. Students may be coming home and having a different kind of conversation about what they're doing and how they're learning. And teachers are really creating that environment for parents to start to reach out. I think if parents need to know anything or if they're curious about the process, email and ask a question. One of the great things that might occur from that is you yourself may become part of the project as an audience member.
So when you say become part as an audience member, what does an audience member do?
So, a lot of times we know what it's like to show up on the gallery night, right? When we look at the projects and things that have been created after the fact. And we're really saying great job because they're doing a great job. This authentic audience portion of a PBL project or just a PBL mindset of learning and instruction allows those community members to step into the process as it's going on to really use their expertise from their career or maybe their passion. You know, there's a lot of people out there that have a degree that they're not maybe using in the career they have, but they love doing it. So the IT guy doesn't have to show up to do IT work. He can show up to talk literature if that's something that he's passionate about, to help the students refine their work, refine their process, and learn in a deeper and more significant way.
So there really is no limitation then?
No, not at all.
And if someone wants to get involved, who could they contact?
They contact me, you know, through Twitter, through email. I think one of the great things that we could probably put together for this community to really make it that one CCPS piece as we start to imagine tomorrow for Chesterfield County is to have almost a repository, a database of community members and what they're interested in doing, whether you're an individual or organization, to start to match you up with maybe a school, a classroom, or even a specific child that is doing work so you can become more involved because it takes a village.
What an innovative way to get connected to our schools. Thank you, Peyton, for your time and expertise, and thank you for joining us on Engage Chesterfield.